Hi, thanks so much for tuning in to Mom Boss Chronicles. My name is Jen.
This is Sue.
And this is Danielle.
We are three moms that work together in real estate and are good friends, and here to talk to you about fun topics, the good, the bad, the ugly of mom struggles, real estate, and other fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to listen to more.
Welcome back to Mom Boss Chronicles. Today we have a special guest, Alex Atamian. Sorry, Alexandru.
That's okay. Most people
call her
call me
Alex.
Alex. Yeah, most people call me Alex. That's fine.
Alexandru is really pretty.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
So Alex, she is my good friend and my neighbor, and her husband own the Porcini restaurant in the Highlands. And Alex is also a blue belt in MMA and a white belt in jiu-jitsu, which this is all very impressive to me. She has 3 kids under 5.
Wow.
So I really wanted to have her come on today because she juggles a ton, like most of us do, but really it's impressive. And she also, I love that you put your self-care like sort of at the forefront too, which I'm sure makes you a better mom, like show up better for your mom, for your kids and for, your business. So I just think it's all really impressive.
I really appreciate that.
You sound like a superhero.
Yeah. Yeah, she does a lot. And
Tell us everything.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I have to say I have a very supportive husband, so that goes a long way. Him and I opened the restaurant in 2015. So we just had, the summer was our 8th business anniversary, which is crazy.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
and you
you.
survived COVID, which I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll get to that. But
That was a wild.
Were you guys married in 2015 when you opened it?
No, we were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. But we knew we were very serious, very committed to each other. And he's 6 years older than me. So he had his chef dreams and career kind of established. And then I went to college for business management, and I didn't want to do specific restaurant management. I wanted to do business management and marketing so that if we went into the restaurant business and it didn't work out, I still had something I could fall back on.
That's smart.
So between his culinary skills and then what I've learned in business management and marketing, we kind of, married those skills together and came up with our restaurant that now we have 8 years in business. And it's small, tiny little 15-table BYOB. And that's the perfect size for us.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to balance the restaurant and family life. And then we got married probably 2 years. Yeah, 2 years after we opened. So 2017. And then we had kids right away. So then once you throw kids in the mix, that changes everything.
Totally.
It makes me happy to hear you say, though, that you're happy with the size. I think a lot of times in business, people are always like, well, you have to scale. You want to grow. You want to do this. And you want to know what you're selling everyone. It's okay. This is what works for us. It's perfect because you found the balance.
I couldn't imagine having a bigger restaurant and still having the time available to have the family time that we want and the things we want to do with our kids. Because when you own a small business like that, you really have to be there. You have to be on top of things. He's pretty much always there. And then I have the flexibility to go in as needed, go in on the weekends, on the holidays, and primarily I am home with the kids.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't want to give that up.
Right. But you also do you do so much. You do all the social media and it's really great. You do a great job.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I love that it's truly this tight-knit family restaurant. She'll bring the kids in and it's just it's really sweet. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny. Our kids are 5, 4, and 18 months.
Wow.
And our 5-year-old, he tells everyone he 100% wants to be a chef when he grows up.
I love that.
So I'm like, yeah, you can definitely be a chef. You could learn to cook. He's like, I already know how to cook, Mom. And if you ask the kids, what's Daddy's favorite thing that he makes at the restaurant? Croutons. That's their answer every time.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And when I bring them in, they spend time in the kitchen. They love to help him cook. They have their own little tongs and they flip things on the grill. And
That's so sweet.
yeah.
They want to feel a part of it, and they are.
They do, definitely.
I love that. That's special.
Yeah.
And you and Chris met working at a different restaurant, right?
We did. It was a little restaurant also owned by a husband and wife. Same kind of environment. And he was the sous chef there. And then I was 15 actually when we met. And he was 22. I know.
So you guys have been together for a while.
Yeah, 16 years.
That's
Wow. That's incredible.
So we've had a lot of growing up to do.
Together.
Yeah, together,
Yeah.
which isn't easy. We've
Definitely
been
not.
through almost everything.
Yeah.
And still come out and, like each other after 16 years.
My
an
late husband
accomplishment.
was a chef,
Okay.
and they're tough. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I think to be in that business and to have a passion for cooking, you really have to be devoted to that and have like attention to detail and process and all of that. And sometimes like he was more A+ type and I'm like A- type. And sometimes I'd be like, can we just cook in the kitchen? I don't like have to cut things perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure
It's funny because everyone always says, how does it work? You guys work together and you live together. How do you even do it? And my answer is always that we're not each other's bosses. Like in the restaurant, I can't do what he does and he can't do what I do.
I love that.
So
stay in each other's lanes.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
like I cook at home a lot, but I cannot go on the line in the restaurant and cook.
I will say you probably could. The things she makes, I've eaten some of her food and the stuff she put, I'm like, okay, you probably
so sweet.
could.
But it is such a different scale doing it in
Yeah,
the restaurant
yeah.
for like in bulk.
Yeah.
I don't know how chefs do it and how they
I
manage all
know,
of
it seems
that.
like a ton of work and exhausting. for
There
sure.
have been instances where someone doesn't show up or something happens and I have to go on the line and help him.
Oh, I mean,
And I always joke, this is the only time you can be my boss. But we always end up like fighting. There's always some sort of bickering with each other. I don't like when he tells me what to do. I'm not doing things the way he wants me to do.
but you're comfortable with each other to just say things honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's funny when that has to happen. But really, like, I can't cook and he can't be the manager of the front. So
You know your lane.
yeah, we have
Each other
completely, we bring different things to the table. And that's really why I think it works so well.
Complimentary. Right.
Yeah.
And the food is, I'm not just saying this, it really is so delicious.
So what kind of
Thank you
food?
so much. So I call it Italian American food because so his training really started as Italian, but then when we opened, that's kind of what we were doing. And then we branched into whatever he wants to cook, really. So we make all of our own pastas from scratch.
Wow.
Everything is homemade, soup, salad dressings, desserts, gelato.
And
then
amazing.
he loves like Asian flair. So he does like Asian slaw sometimes that he would do with crab cakes, or he does duck and like a plum sauce. That's one of his signature dishes. And then he also even makes chicken and waffles. That's become one of the like signature dishes too at the restaurant. So we make a little bit of everything. And he does all fresh seafood, local, seasonal.
Yeah. I want to
Like
go
that's
now.
good. Like where you guys are located too, you have so much access to fresh seafood, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have yet to come to your restaurant, but I have to say I see people mention it all the time on
that makes
different
me
like
so happy.
Monmouth County blogs and stuff like that. It's definitely touted a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
Definitely. And you guys kind of specialize in smaller parties, right? Like christenings.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
We can seat up to 40 guests in our restaurant. So we're not open for lunch. So we only open for dinner. So during the lunch hours, we host a lot of small afternoon parties like showers, christenings,
That's awesome.
business luncheons. And right on our menu, we have like set menus, prices, options, the different packages that we offer. And then, of course, everything's customizable too.
Right.
So,
That's good.
yeah.
So, in instances where somebody calls out, because I think that's inevitable in all restaurant businesses, and you have to jump on the line, how do you pivot to get someone to watch the kids? Do you have a good
So-
support system?
His mother is very helpful with
Yeah.
babysitting.
Oh,
and
that's
she lives
amazing.
in town.
Okay.
She's retired. So she really, anytime we need her, she's almost always willing to come and help us out, especially if it's work related.
Yeah.
She's very supportive of the restaurant.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It takes
so
a village.
important.
Yeah,
It
so
really
if you
does.
say someone called out and I have to go into work, she'll pretty much always show up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really
Big shout out to her
incredible.
then.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work for her, the 3 kids.
Yeah, I'm
She's
sure.
older. She's in her mid-70s. So
Yeah.
the 3 kids are a lot. But but she does it.
She
the
does
boys
it.
kind of like run her a little.
Right. Well,
They run the show.
When grandma's there, everything goes.
Oh, totally.
Lots of
for
candy
sure.
consumed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm impressed when you were saying how you cook dinner at home with 3 kids. Like,
yeah, you cook all the time, right?
I do like to cook all the time. It's for me, it's like the reward of eating what I want. Like
That's
craving
awesome.
something and eating what I want motivates me to do it. But a lot of times too, if I plan it well enough and say, I want to make tacos, can you make the chicken and shred it for me at the restaurant? And then he'll bring it home.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then half the prep is done. And that makes it so much easier for me to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really nice. And you guys also do catering for holidays. We
do.
We have gotten turkeys from them for Thanksgiving. And it's so nice because they carve it and it's just put it in the oven and it's done.
Really?
And
like,
it's delicious.
makes it easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is delicious. So if anyone ever needs
Yeah.
catering for the holidays.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
That's something we started during COVID, actually,
Oh,
when
really?
there were so many regulations and you weren't allowed to be open and only restaurants could do takeout and curbside. So we were like, typically we would be open on Christmas Eve or some of these holidays and we would have a full house. And we're like, how are we going to make up for this? So we're already operating at capacity. We're already taking one hit after another. So we came up with this idea to do like oven to table catering service where we would prep everything, we would par cook everything, and then everything would be served with warming instructions when you pick it up. So you just take it right out of the fridge, let it get room temperature, and then follow the instructions right on the lid. Warm this up for 40 minutes at 350, this for 20 minutes. And the customers loved it so much. It was such a popular way to do the catering that we've been doing it ever since.
That's amazing.
And for us, it's also nice because then we now get to spend the holidays at home with our family
Yeah.
instead of working every holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that is really nice. I mean, there's so much bad stuff that came out of COVID, but there's
I was
great,
gonna say,
opportunities
yeah, the
like that
silver
that arose as
lining.
well.
Yeah. And because we were such a small restaurant and so many regular customers had been following us through the years, and when COVID happened, the support that we really saw from our customers was so humbling. And we would have people ordering every week from us, and we were doing family meals and packages and meals to freeze your freezer, like to stock your freezer. And we had families who, or have kids in college, and all of a sudden their kids are home and they're like, I can't even keep the fridge full enough. Like, we need trays of chicken parm for these kids. And we just we had 2 kids during that time. So our youngest was 3 months.
Wow.
And then our oldest was 1.5.
Oh my gosh, crazy times.
Yeah. Like I was breastfeeding. I was tandem feeding both of them at the time. We were delivering. I would like nurse the baby in the back seat, then go on deliveries and drop the food off.
Oh
and
my God, you're a
it was
queen.
chaos. It was really chaos.
yeah. Oh my God.
But you do what you got to do for your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys were able to do outdoor seating, right? Which you traditionally are not allowed to do.
Yeah, so we don't have outdoor seating, unfortunately. That's something we've always wanted. And then when things started to open up during COVID, it was outdoors only. And we were like, well, we don't have outdoors, so what are we going to do? And the mayor in town pretty much said, if you don't have your outdoor space, then you can come up with a creative way and, bring your idea to the board in town and we'll see if we can make it work. So I came up with this plan to bring our tables outside to our neighbor's parking lot if they would let us use it. And we had to show lighting. We had to show like social distancing and all of those things. So I had to present my plan. And, with some tweaks and changes back and forth, we were able to come up with a system where we could have all these tables in the parking lot and we didn't have any outdoor furniture. So my staff and I,
scrambling.
we were carrying because you couldn't even buy outdoor furniture at the time.
Yeah.
No, you
You're right.
couldn't even get
Supply
it.
chains are crazy.
We were carrying our furniture, tables and chairs outside into the
Every
parking
day.
lot, which was too storefronts down.
Oh my gosh.
Carry them out into the parking lot every day, set it all up, and then carry it back.
Wow.
And it was 2 extra hours of prep work just to be able to serve, just to stay afloat. Like we're just trying to pay the bills and get through this time.
And if it's raining, right, then I'm sure that threw a wrench in it.
If it's raining, then there was no dinner service. So then we finally got some tents, and it wasn't our parking lot, so we couldn't set up a big structure.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had to be able to break it down every day because the store that we were taking over the parking lot, they were open during the day.
Right.
So they needed their parking lot.
Oh my gosh.
So we would have these tents that we would set up and break down every day with cinder blocks to hold them down, and it was so much work. And
Well, that's entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Which actually makes me think, like, so in terms of like when you guys were starting your restaurant, was there like trepidation, like, can we do this? Like, just about kind of like pulling everything together, finding the space, doing like your business plan, like.
yeah, well, it's kind of a funny story because so I was in my senior year of college, and we already were talking about we want to open a restaurant. That was our plan all along. That was why I went for a business, and we were working in different restaurants, getting as much experience as we could. And my final paper in business school was our business plan to open Porcini.
Did you have the name then too?
We thought we were pretty certain. I can't remember if we actually had the name, but we were pretty certain at that point. So it was the business plan to open Porcini, and then, we didn't really have a timeline yet, but we were just working through things, and we were also working at a different restaurant that was in town where the owner there was like, I don't really want my restaurant. I want to sell it. And then when we said, okay, we're ready to talk to you about buying it, then he had changed his mind. He went back and forth. He's like, I don't want to sell it, but I'll make you a partner. And we said, that's a hard no for us. We don't want any partners. We're doing this like boyfriend, girlfriend team, and that's it. We don't want any partners, just us. So we said, okay, well, we're going to have to start looking for our own space then. And I think our boss at the time didn't really take us serious because we were young. I was 22.
Wow.
And my husband was 28.
Yeah, so you're in your 20s.
Yeah. So
You're a baby.
Yeah.
So when we started really looking and he got wind of us looking, he fired us. And then
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he fired us.
Come on.
And Chris was kind of like, now what? And I said that this is our motivation.
That's the catalyst, right? Yeah.
Like maybe we wouldn't have had the
push.
to do it. And now we do.
Yeah.
And we were living at home. We were living with his mom. We left our apartment, moved back home so that we could do it. And pretty much everything we had, we put into the restaurant.
Did you find the space right away?
We found the space right away. We actually were sitting at breakfast on a Monday because that's, our weekend, Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, especially when you're in the industry.
Yeah. So we're sitting at breakfast and we were just saying how we don't even know where to start, but we're just unhappy with what we're doing and trying to find other jobs in other restaurants. Let's just drive up and down the coast and we'll just stop at every place for rent or for sale and we'll get in touch with them and we'll see, what the situation is. And we were already working in Highlands at multiple restaurants for so many years. So we kind of felt comfortable there, and that's the first place we drove to, and there was a for rent sign in our restaurant.
And was it a restaurant before?
It was the Highlands Pancake House before, so it was a little diner, and the for rent sign was in the window, so we called the landlord. We went to go see it, and we just signed a lease right away.
Wow.
And
You're like, this is it.
yeah. And it needed a ton of work. It was a diner. There was a breakfast bar in there.
So everything
it was
was
like an
wrong.
open kitchen. Yeah. And my father is a contractor. He came and he helped us do all the construction, and we were able to turn it into what we wanted and my vision. And Chris was just like, excited to get to cooking and doing what he wanted, planning his menu.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long did it take to get it up and going?
From April to July.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And then the first year, how was that?
The first year actually was really good because we had an established following from the other restaurants. Once the people got wind of us opening,
so cool.
pretty much all of our customers followed us right away.
So you just believed in yourself. You opened it and it came.
Yeah. And when we look back, it's still so surreal. And thinking back now, there never really was a fear in our minds, like, what if we fail? What if this doesn't work out? Because we just gave it everything we had, and there was no other option. Like, we were doing this. We were going to make this work. But now I think I would not have the courage to do it.
Well, now you have kids.
Yeah,
and
so
it would
it's
add
so
a whole
different.
other layer of stress and time. And so it was like the perfect time
back
for you
then,
guys.
it was the perfect time for us to both fully dedicate everything
Yeah.
to the restaurant.
Right.
So we were open 6 days a week. Both of us were there 6 days a week.
Yeah.
We were working 70, 80 hours, both of us. I would never be able to give that much of my time to the restaurant now because 3 kids and my priority is being with them because we always said, even before we were married, when we have a family, we want, like, both of us were in agreement that I wanted to be home with them. And he was like, I would love that because I don't want someone else to be raising our kids if we're in the restaurant and it's tough hours. And someone else would be putting our kids to bed every night. That's just not what we wanted.
Right.
And the long days and weekends. Yeah.
Holidays, everything.
Yeah.
So.
And is it a hard juggle now? Because is he in the restaurant a lot on the weekends and nights?
Yeah, that's the hardest part. That's why I always think this is a perfect size. I can't imagine going bigger because then he'd have to be there even more.
Yeah.
And it's definitely hard to balance. I'm primarily with the kids. He's primarily at the restaurant. So there's like that feeling we're living 2 separate lives sometimes, and it's hard to find the alone time for us. And then right now our kids, they're not in public school yet. They're in private preschool, and the baby, she's just home with me all the time. But they're in the private preschool so that we can do half days for them so that we get more family time. Once they're in kindergarten and they're in public school, then they'll be in school full time. They'll be home on the weekends, and he always is going to be working the weekends. And like, that's going to be another struggle. We always say maybe we'll flip-flop our days and close on Sunday, Mondays when that time comes. So we get a weekend day together.
You guys will figure it out. Like, we adapt, right?
Yeah,
That's what we do as humans.
exactly.
How did you get into MMA?
So I always wanted, that was like a life goal of mine. I want to learn self-defense. I don't want like a cardio kickboxing. I want to learn real self-defense. And fitness has always been a passion of mine. Like, since I was in my early to mid-20s, that's when I discovered fitness and just started my fitness journey, never looked back. But I always wanted to do the self-defense aspect of it. And you know, after opening the restaurant and getting married and having kids, I just always had an excuse. There's no time. It's hard because most martial arts is at night, and how am I going to do that? And then when I got pregnant with my third, so my 2 boys are back to back, and then I had a year off and then got pregnant with my daughter. And her pregnancy was, you know, the hardest one of the 3. My boys were so easy. My daughter, of course, was the hardest one. So,
Naturally.
yeah, right. So I said, when I have this baby, I'm going to do something for myself. I just feel like I've given everything to my kids, to my business. I want to do something for me. I'm going to start martial arts. I'm going to find a martial arts dojo that I feel comfortable. I'm going to do it. So pretty much right at 6 weeks postpartum, right after I had her, I joined. I ended up at Ganguly's Mixed Martial Arts in Ocean, and I love it. It's been almost 2 years I've been there.
Wow.
And, you know, it really is a transformation from the inside out. It's so much more than just self-defense and just martial arts. It's becomes a lifestyle. It changes your mindset. It, you know, it's given me so much more confidence and strength to stick up for myself and verbalize more of my wants, my needs, just in all relationships of my life.
That's so great.
Yeah. So I'm 2 years into it. I'm a blue belt, like you mentioned, in my MMA, and a white belt in jiu-jitsu. And it's just the beginning. Like, I have so much more to
challenge yourself in a different way, and like stepping outside of your comfort zone. And
it is,
especially in that. I mean, it's just, and it's also an industry or a fitness regime that most women aren't involved in.
Yeah, it's definitely more men than women.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was, for me at least, there was that fear, like, what if I get hit?
Yeah.
What if, and there still is a little bit. That's part of the self-work that you work on when you're doing martial arts is getting over those fears, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations to grow and coming out stronger.
It's definitely intimidating at first.
Yeah.
I went to a class with Alex.
Yeah.
It was probably
You did?
Oh, so it was like
It was
over
like
a year
early.
ago. Yeah.
And I just started.
Yeah, and I really did like it, but like she mentioned, the classes are at night.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. I mean,
Yeah, it is
I'm with
really
the kids
hard at
all the time.
I'm
so
sure, right? You're tired from the day, but you make it a priority to go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You get up and go.
when I first started, by the time 7:00 would come and I'd have to go to class, I felt so burnt out from the day. And every day I'm like, how am I even going to make it through?
I know. It's impressive that you do that.
Then you get into the habit of you look forward to it and it becomes your break
That's awesome.
for the day.
Right,
And
for sure.
yeah, and then I feel like too. What was I going to say? I had a thought. It just left my mind.
It'll
But I'll
come back to you.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, the class was really cool. It was a great workout too. So at some point, it'd be nice to revisit that. Or there really aren't morning classes in martial arts, right?
Some studios are coming out with morning classes, which is definitely very convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like the night class is a struggle too because
childcare. Right?
yeah, so Chris's mom will come on the nights I want to train and she'll watch the kids and then it's like a mad dash. I feel like
Yeah.
the kids from school, they also do karate. So
cool.
my 2 boys are in it and they love it and I've seen so much growth in them too, like their coordination and all of that. So it's something I really want to prioritize and encourage for them also. So they go to their class and then we come home and I do dinner and then bath and then I'm like
Running out.
I pretty much get everything done and then put a movie on for them and they hang out and then I go do my training and then I come back and put the kids to bed.
Yeah.
So it's
Your
like
fifth shift of the day.
Yeah, right?
yeah, it's definitely a lot. And I just tell myself it's not always going to be this hard.
Yes.
And I don't want to, this is something I really have wanted to prioritize for myself for so long.
And not keep pushing like
Yeah,
later.
so I don't want to keep pushing it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're creating this great role model, you know, situation for your children to see that too. And like, not only are you doing things to make yourself mentally and physically stronger, but to protect the family.
Yeah.
Like
that's
you're doing things
definitely
for
another
you,
aspect
you know?
for me.
Yeah.
I want to set the good example for them. And also I feel too that because I am a lot of times by myself with the kids and I do everything with them. I take all 3 kids to the fairs, to the carnivals, all over the place. I think it's important to have some self-defense training.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So many crazy out there.
You
Yeah.
never know. You have to be prepared.
Yeah.
for
And that nose bone, you know? Right?
Yeah.
Especially having a daughter too, setting that example of you can do this, you know?
I can't wait to get her into karate.
Oh my God,
She already does her jab cross because since she's been 6 weeks old, she's been watching her brothers in class. And as soon as she sees the tiger logo, she is doing it. She's doing her jab cross.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
She's got
She's
2
gonna be a
older
tough
brothers.
girl.
Yeah, there's 2 older brothers that are gonna like beat her up, you know, and keep her, you know, strong and everything. And then karate, no one's gonna mess with her. And their mom, like they're like, I want your mom to beat my ass.
Yeah. And so Alex will also go and like run a couple miles and like go to Orange Theory, and I'm just like, you're very impressive.
I really feel like for me, staying in shape just makes me feel like my best self.
Yeah, for sure.
When I'm not prioritizing it, I just feel sluggish. I feel like I have less patience. I just feel depressed.
Totally.
It really helps so much with the better I take care of myself, the better I can take care of my family.
I love that.
Absolutely.
And I want to be that strong mom that's around for a long time and able to roll around with my grandkids one day. I really think it's just so important.
It
I
really
totally
is.
agree. Are there any tips you would share with folks that also are interested in, you know, I mean, entrepreneurial, opening up a restaurant, you know, moms, anything you would share with anyone out there listening who is like on the fence or...
Yeah, well, it's so funny with the restaurant. Anytime we would ask anyone for advice about, we want to open a restaurant, the advice is don't open a restaurant.
I know.
Of course, I feel like anything that like, you know...
I know.
Yeah.
And I get that now. I understand both sides of that because it is hard. But then if you work for someone else, there's downsides to that too. There's
Pros and
downsides
cons.
to everything.
Absolutely.
You pick and choose your heart, you know?
Yeah.
So with the restaurant business, my advice is to just go into it with someone you really trust, that you can really lean on and feel supported. Because if you go into it with someone else, like I know with Chris and I, we know 100% we can lean on each other.
Yeah.
He picks up on the things I slack and vice versa.
Right.
That's awesome.
And I think you really need a partner like that to do it and be successful. And then with motherhood, it's so hard to prioritize yourself. It really is. And then you feel guilty sometimes for doing it.
Yes.
And that's something that we all have to work through some days. But it's important to do because we're more than just moms. We have to, you know, be an individual and be strong and healthy to take care of, you know, our families and our kids. They depend on us. And
They feel your energy. So like you were saying
do,
before, it makes you a better mom. So if your energy is coming across like depleted, run down, depressed, they're going to feel that.
Yeah.
But if your energy comes across strong, happy, confident,
Yeah.
they're going to feel that.
And I think too, setting the example, like, do I want them to struggle to make these choices? Or if they grow up seeing that this is a priority, it just becomes their lifestyle.
Yeah. It's so easy to lose yourself in being a mom.
Oh, yeah.
Do it all the time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
of course.
yeah, it's amazing. You have such a full plate, and it's
I really
so
appreciate
nice.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I will put my work stuff aside to do a workout or go for a run. And then I'll, you know, be up until 3 a.m. catching up on paperwork. But I would rather get my workout in because that's really
sacrifice
important
that.
to me. And then I'll come back and I'll get the other work done. But
Right. Even if it's 20 minutes,
Right.
you know, you're getting it done.
Get that dopamine hit, you know?
yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question for you. So porcini is mushroom. Do you have a favorite mushroom? Or a favorite mushroom to cook with? Or
I think both of us, our favorite mushroom is hen of the woods mushrooms, or maybe oyster mushrooms. I know they're kind of unique, more rare, but they are so good, especially if you like fry them up and salt with a nice aioli. But we also do love porcini, and that's how we kind of ended up with the name, because we were like, we don't want to use anything with our names. We don't want to use anything with our town or the street, because what if we want to move the restaurant one day? So we were like, what do we like to cook with? And both of us like mushrooms. And then really porcini just kind of stuck. I like the writing of it. I like
good
the
feel.
logo
it is.
we could
Yeah.
make.
It's just smooth. It's smooth. To
Yeah,
say.
it just felt right. So they tell you when you're going to go, you know, buy the names of your business that you should have plan A, B, and C. And there was no plan B or C. We were just like hoping and praying, please let porcini be available, because that's it for us. And we got lucky, and that's it.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
I love that.
And have you guys ever been to Italy?
No, we
Was it a
actually
dream?
were just last night saying that we would love, that's like a bucket list trip for us. And June will be our 7th marriage anniversary.
Okay.
And we were saying that it's a goal for our 10-year anniversary. We want to go to Italy. We want to eat all the food, drink the espresso.
Would you take the kids?
No, I think we want to do a solo trip.
They'll be at a good age then.
Yeah, because we've never left the kids overnight.
Okay.
We've never gone on a trip away, just the two of us since becoming parents. And I feel like we need it. And I'm also very nervous about leaving the kids. But I think by that point,
Yeah.
they'll be old enough and we'll be able to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
That's a good goal to have.
That's another sort of topic is when you had your daughter, the youngest, you had 3 kids under 4?
Yeah. So Benjamin was 3.
Wow,
it was
crazy.
it was a month and a half before his 4th birthday. So he was 3, Nick was 2.5, and then Vivian was born.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's like a whole other girl. How did you even
Appreciate
Do you sleep?
No, honestly. We haven't slept since Ben was born. Our kids are horrible sleepers. They are horrible sleepers. And of course, we co-sleep, and I'm breastfeeding. I've been breastfeeding almost 6 years straight between one kid after another.
Yeah.
And Vivian especially, she still wakes up like a newborn and just demands it all the time.
That
It's
was my
exhausting.
kids, too.
Yeah. So no sleep. I don't know. Just a lot of coffee and getting those endorphins from working out.
Right.
They keep me going.
Yeah, so that's a whole.
It's probably awesome though to see them with each other. They're so close in age, so they probably have blast together.
Yeah, I love their age difference and I love their bond. And we both were on the same page where we want to be young parents and we just want to like bang it out, have the kids.
Pun intended.
We were like, even when we had our 2 boys and Chris was like, I know 100% I want a third. And I was like, I think I want a third. But I know the longer I go, I think I might change my mind because I'm getting comfortable.
Yeah.
We just got out of the trenches. Our son was 2. And I'm like, starting over again. But I was like, let's just go for it because I feel incomplete as a family. I know I want that third. But I don't know, there's never a right time.
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, let's just see what happens. And then now here she is.
And you have your girl.
Victory. Yeah. She's the little princess of the family.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Her in June, I can't wait to see them
I know.
in a couple years.
I
Just
know.
like
It's
running
so
the
nice.
neighborhood.
I know. Yeah, we're literally next door neighbors.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Like,
And then they have the older brothers who are definitely going to tell on them or look out for them.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Those girls will never have to worry about anything.
I know. They have their protectors. It's for sure.
Yeah, it's so cute.
I know. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so
I
much
think
for
it's
having
amazing
me.
that you have a business with your husband, you work out, you have 3 kids, and I feel like you make it all look so graceful. I'm sure, obviously, I know behind the
appreciate
scenes it's chaotic,
Oh, yeah.
but you do it with a smile on your face and a positive attitude, so that's amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Very inspiring.
Thank
Truly.
you. That's so kind.
Yeah.
And where can
Definite
people
model.
find you? Where can they find the restaurant? Like, do you have an Instagram?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram and Facebook. The Instagram is porcini_Italian_trattoria. And then the Facebook is Porcini, New Jersey. And we have our website with all of our information, catering, party information. And we do reservations. And I'm on social media too. And really, like, it just makes me really happy and proud and humbled if I'm able to inspire anybody.
Yeah.
I really feel that way.
No, for sure. And I think you can. Like, just even your personal account,
Thank you.
Just seeing your
Being a busy
motivation.
mom,
And yeah, for sure. It's definitely inspiring.
Thank you.
So
We'll be sure to link all.
yeah,
of
we'll
it.
link everything when we post this. Follow her along. Go eat at Porcini. It's delicious. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on today.